get out. I get out of all your boxes. I get out. You can hold me in these
One of the
chains.
things that
I'll
a
get
lot of people don't know is,
out.
yeah, you're wonderful at these covers, but it's getting to
Knowing
know
my
your own
condition
original material as
is the
well.
reason
And
I must
I know it's only
change.
something that you've
Your
more
stinking
recently started to do,
resolution
but
is
you
no
have
type
got
of
some really
solution.
beautiful music. There was
Preventing
a
me
song that
from
you released,
freedom,
I think,
maintaining
2015
your
through
pollution.
Roy Global Studio called
I won't support
Nindega.
your lie no more. I
Oh,
won't
Dega.
even
not
try
bad,
no
not bad,
more.
not bad.
If I have to
Such a
die,
pure
oh
song.
Lord,
It
that's
just,
how I
it
choose to
kind of feels
live.
like your heart
I
is
won't
just,
be
you've laid everything
compromised
out
no
on
more.
that song.
I
I
can't
don't
be
know, it just
Yeah.
feel
victimized no
very
more.
vulnerable.
I just
It's
can't
not,
sympathize
it's
no
not the kind
more.
of how
'Cause
I
now
normally
I understand.
associate myself with Cynthia Gentle, but
You
that
just
song
wanna
feels
use me.
very, very
You
vulnerable
say
song that I
love
can't,
can
I don't speak
abuse
the
me.
language, but when I hear it, it
Lord
just
can
feels
lose
like,
me.
I don't know,
I
someone's
You
pray
just,
for you
feel
from
the
heaven.
emotion.
mm,
Yeah.
That
Yeah. The thing with
was probably
that
maybe a
song
little
and
too
my music
soggy to
is
be
I have all
anyone
these
new.
songs
But
ready to go. And I
my
know there are
request
limiting
of
factors as to why I can get my music out
grace
there.
and
But
of the
there's the whole
thirst
thing of
for good life
I feel like
will
I
do it.
am
Thank you.
bearing my soul to the public. My music is very is from the heart. And to some extent, I feel like I'm letting my baby go when I let people listen to it, because it's all parts of me that
yeah.
show my strengths and my vulnerabilities put to music.
That's really interesting though, because also, because some of the great songs in history are songs that people didn't want to release because they thought they were too personal to them. They thought no one's going to connect with this song. But actually, those are the songs people love because the raw emotion is there. It's
Yeah,
not like a formulated track, it's just raw emotion.
yeah.
And I really encourage you to kind of do more of those kind of songs. And there's another one. I had the pleasure to hear some stuff when you were working on an album, and there was a song, probably not called this. I think it was something like "I'm Not Your Circus."
That's the next song that I'm releasing, actually. It's
Wow!
yes, yeah, yeah. I've just been working with a guy called Nana. He's in Leith. He's a Ghanaian producer, and he has helped me with that song. So that song is due for release, and it's the lyrics are find yourself another clown for your circus.
Yeah,
I've done every trick, jumped through every hoop for your amusement. And a lot of people will relate to that song. That song I wrote after a breakup, of course. But I think people will relate to that song if they've ever had to walk away from any toxic situations. And that just doesn't happen in like love relationships. That can
yeah,
happen at work, that can happen in
yeah,
family settings. It's just about deciding that enough is enough, and you
yeah,
know
yeah. You can really feel that. Oh, that's great. When is that song coming out? Do you think? Do you have a time roughly for the
the
release?
song is ready. The song is ready. We just need to make a video for it, and that's very
Oh,
difficult just now with the lockdown.
sure, sure,
I'm just
sure.
waiting to get the video done and get it out there. I'm excited about it because
Yeah,
yeah, I'm excited about it
it's a
because
great
it's got
track,
a
and it.
Shona, it's got a Shona chorus to it,
Mm, oh,
and I just can't wait to hear what people are gonna think.
yeah,
I know a lot of people are going to identify with the song,
yeah.
men and women alike.
Yeah, they will connect it. I mean, even the fact that I've remembered that song, and I don't know how long ago it was that I had you working on it. So there's obviously something there. I think a lot of people will connect with that. And I think a lot of your music is obviously about, it's about personal experiences, about heartbreak, it's about love. I think a lot of people will connect in different levels with it. Take me back to your early memories of singing. When did you first sing? I know we were talking recently. You were saying actually you were relatively like new to kind of singing in public. But did you sing as a child? Were you in Did you sing in gospel choirs, for example? Because I've heard you singing gospel in other events. It just feels like your voice has been trained in church.
Well, my earliest memory of me singing was with my dad, and that was me singing Brown Girl in the Ring with a wooden
Boney M.
spoon. Yeah, Bonnie M. And he would be cheering, and we would do the little twirls and the dances
Oh,
together. So
Wow.
it's something I've always loved. I was inspired a lot by his music collection. Obviously, growing up, I used to spend most of my time. For a long time, I was an only child, so all I had was music, really. So I would play lots of music, learn lyrics, write lyrics down, and kind of. I remember Friday or Saturday evenings, I would have a little gig in the house and entertain the family. And then, as my brother and my sister came along, we would do it together. But in primary school, I had a really influential music teacher. Her name was Mrs. Reynolds at Avondale Primary School. And she took me through some training. And I would sing in, I stepped for competitions, and that's where my confidence grew. And I think my voice was more refined. And then after being on the scene here in Scotland, I landed on the scene by mistake. But then I had to reach out to a music teacher called Lorna Brooks, and then she helped me further with how to sing professionally, how to breathe. You
So
know.
you had professional singing lessons.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did that in the last. I think in within the last 8 years, I did that, and there was
Oh,
such
that's quite late to actually coming to doing professional singing lessons.
late by whose standards?
Ah, well, yeah. No, but what I mean is, when I hear you sing, it just feels like you grew up through that. I hear gospel roots in your voice that almost you had that training. So to know
Oh, wow.
to know that it's relatively new, it's like, wow, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, of course, I grew up in church singing, but I think what comes through is the passion, because on stage, yes, there are things that are made to look easy, but there's a lot of work that goes on in behind the scenes. You know, I mean, every artist will know about self-doubt and being self-critical, and how we sometimes can take it too far, and sometimes we waste a lot of energy on that. So for me, it's been learning about directing that energy into the music itself, into the songwriting, rather than focusing on what I perceive as flaws, seeing them as tools that can be used in the music to inspire people and to reach people who may be in the same situation. Yeah.
And that comes about with talking about some of the songs where it's about opening your heart, just being true to who you are, and trying to connect with real experiences that other people are maybe have been going through as well. Who was the biggest sort of influence do you think as an artist for you growing up? Who was the person that inspired you to sing? Who were you grabbing the comb, running around the house singing to?
Miriam Makeba.
Miriam Makeba.
And why Miriam Makeba? Because in a world, I grew up, even though I was in Africa, most of the media didn't represent me.
Right.
And so here was a woman who looked like me, who sounded like me, who was international, and she had crowds all over the world, and she had people listening to her message. I mean, who would have thought that a message about a struggle in South Africa would go so viral? Who would have thought that somebody would make it big time singing a song about how the cows are coming home? You know, these
What
are
was so
things.
special about Miriam Makeba? I know so many people who love her so.
I love Miriam Makeba because I believe she was true to herself and to her culture. Miriam Makeba, I mean, initially when she started the music, I think she went through that journey where she realized she had to step into her full identity. You know, she started wearing her traditional attire. She's got the traditional jewelry, you know, and the portraits of her portray her as such a powerful African woman. And I think there's such a need for that, not just a powerful, because now when people are talking about power, they're thinking of a power in terms of political terms, you know, but we need people who are powerfully motivating us, inspiring future generations, you know. I can't think of a female politician, I can't think of a female politician that has had as much of an impact and has spoken to me so as much as Miriam Makeba.
Wow. Well, that really shows, you know, how people can inspire us, and often artists can give people a voice, and something to look up to and aspire to. Wow. So, I mean, you're saying that you came to singing relatively a little later in life compared to some people, but you were always writing songs and things. You're saying that at kind of early age you were always writing lyrics. So was there not a part of you that thought, you know, I'd quite like to be a singer, I'd like to share these things? Or was it just your way of kind of dealing with the world or dealing with emotions, like a diary almost?
I don't think I ever really thought that I would turn my little poetic scribbles into songs.
Wow.
I didn't make the connection, because I think I thought singing was for more qualified people or more experienced
Wow.
people or people who looked a certain way or sounded a certain way.
It's sad,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
So
So
what changed that in you then? What changed that? Was it people like Miriam Makeba, or what changed it for you?
I think life experiences invite you to own yourself, your identity. And in that's where it allowed for the music to be more, uh, it allowed me to explore the music more, to explore and to enjoy it and to
Mm.
find healing from it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. If you had one artist who you could perform with today, who would you choose?
Do they have to be alive?
I get. Oh, well, is it Miriam Makeba again? Do we resurrect her?
No, I would have loved to, I mean, if she could be resurrected, wouldn't it be great to sing with Ella Fitzgerald?
Oh wow. You know, I grew up also with Ella Fitzgerald. My granddad loved Ella Fitzgerald. Ella
Mm,
Fitzgerald and Nina Simone, but I think Ella Fitzgerald was his
yeah,
favorite.
yeah. Nina Simone was another one. They're brilliant, brilliant singers. And so, one of the things Ella used to ask is, why do people keep coming to my gigs? You know,
That's funny.
it is funny because I don't think she realized the impact she had. Her songs were so beautiful and so simple. There was no drama. It was all stripped back to its
Mm,
most pure form.
mm, mm,
And that's what I love about her music.
And we don't get enough songs like that are just pure, just people opening up their souls. And people often ask me about, any advice for a young artist. And I just talk about just try and be you, try and be yourself, try and talk about real life experiences, not like I'm going
Yeah,
down to the club to get some drink and meet a girl and we're going to dance, just like, oh,
yeah.
not
It's
real.
pointless if music doesn't have a message.
And what's been the highlight for you then as a singer so far, as a performer?
I think one moment that I always remember was when I went to Peterborough to perform. It was a Valentine's Day gig,
Right.
and the hall had, I would say, maybe about 300 people,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all from my country.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I was introduced as a jazz singer from Scotland. And I think people just thought, what is she going to do from Scotland? And because of my second name, some of them didn't realize that I was Zimbabwean. And then I shared one of my Shona love songs.
Mm.
I got up and I started singing. And within the first two lines, everybody was clapping. Everybody was
Wow.
so overwhelmed. And there was so much love. People really, really identified with it. And they were like, people don't sing like that these days.
Wow.
So I was so touched um, by that. These people
Mm.
weren't familiar with me, but they
Mm.
appreciated everything. So that was, I still remember that feeling that I got from that gig.
What's next in terms of you as a singer? You've talked that there's a new song release coming out. Is there a chance that there might be an album coming out? Is there a concert planned? What's next for you?
After the song comes the album, and then hopefully I would love to have an intimate gig here in Edinburgh or wherever people invite me, and have all my songs. It's a Shona love book. Like,
Wow.
all the songs are in my language, and it's deep traditional expressions of love and communication. I'm really looking forward to that.